If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Hello everybody, and welcome to a very special emergency episode of Attack the Baseline, a WNBA podcast where every episode we attack our baseline knowledge of the WNBA. It is 10:48 p.m. on Sunday, January 26th, and we're here to react and give our initial opinions about the big three-team trade that just went down in the WNBA. It's been a long day. Kristen, how you feeling?
Yeah, it's been a great day.
Great day.
Long day, great day.
In the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah. We get to go to the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Again.
Beat the Commanders. 55-20 whatever.
Incredible game.
55-23.
Killed it.
Incredible game.
Killed it.
Our boys had it. Mm-hmm. 7 rushing touchdowns. We love football.
Yeah, but that's not why we're here.
Incorrect.
And it's really past my bedtime.
It is past your bedtime. So let's dig right into it. This is an emergency podcast. I'm not even going to do all the hemming and hawing. Let's just get right into it. There was a 3-team trade between the Storm, the Sparks, and the Aces. The terms of the trade, the Las Vegas Aces, biggest point, are trading Kelsey Plum to the LA Sparks. The Seattle Storm are trading Jewell Loyd to the Las Vegas Aces. And the Los Angeles Sparks are trading the 2nd overall pick to the Storm. That's basically the basis for this trade. There are a couple other things. The Storm will also be receiving Li Yueru from the Sparks and Las Vegas' 2026 first-round pick. And the Sparks will also be receiving the number 9 overall pick from the Storm, as well as a 2026 second-rounder from Seattle. And the Aces, after Jewell, will also be receiving the 13th overall pick in the upcoming draft from the LA Sparks.
Oh, because the Aces don't have a pick.
Correct.
Okay.
They never have a pick. So, at the end of the day, the Sparks end this trade with a first overall pick, moving down from 2 to 9. They get Kelsey Plum, and they get a future second. The Aces get Jewell Loyd and move down to the top of the second round, and the Storm get the number 2 overall pick, Li Yueru, and a Vegas first in 26. A lot of stuff, a lot of key parts. Apparently, that's the first time in the history of the WNBA that 2 first overall picks have been traded for one another. That's crazy. We're here for history. But again, because this is emergency, opinions are subject to change. This is just our initial reactions. Why don't we just go team by team and just right off the top talk about what we think? Who do you want to start with?
We can start with the Aces, I guess.
Sure.
Getting rid of Kelsey Plum, swapping Kelsey Plum for Jewell Loyd. That is an upgrade in terms of size, in terms of defense, I guess.
Potentially, yes.
Potentially. Kelsey Plum is so fast.
Yes.
But I guess Jewell is better defensively in some regards.
Right, and I'm not aware of the difference in their defensive metrics, but based on size alone, Jewell is probably a better defender than Kelsey. Kelsey's very small. We know, so defense is not her strong suit. But yeah, I guess we could say that they get a little better on the defensive end.
Offensively, if Jewell has a year that she usually does, it shouldn't make that much of a difference. So they let Kelsey Plum leave because I guess she wanted to leave and replaced her with someone of equal caliber, which, good, I guess. They didn't lose much.
That is my first pause. What I think they lost at first, the first thing I see is 3-point volume. It's going to go down. Jewell Loyd can shoot a lot of threes, doesn't tend to shoot as nearly as many as Kelsey Plum. And that was Kelsey Plum's best asset in Vegas. Sometimes she would shoot 12 threes. She'd make a whole bunch of them. And she could get a shot, and she could make a shot. And, like you said, she's quite fast. She can get to the hoop I would say, as a better finisher than Jewell. But Jewell probably has a better, mid-range game and might just be a better scorer. But she also demands the ball a lot. So the ball's going to have to be in Jewell's hands a ton more than Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum wasn't demanding the ball. She was getting open and taking a shot. I don't know if that's how Jewell is going to want to play it. So that's going to be kind of interested to see. How does Jewell and Chelsea Gray work? I don't really know. I think what the Aces are going to need to do is try to figure out how they can make Jackie Young what Kelsey Plum was. Not exactly what she was, because Jackie is her own player, but I think they're going to need to try to get that into the game plan in Vegas.
For sure.
But, again, I don't know. I really don't know if it's an upgrade or a downgrade. It kind of feels...
It feels like we're going to have to see.
I mean, yeah, we're definitely going to have to see. But it is a shame, because I did like Kelsey Plum's role in Vegas. But as other players get better, is this the horse that they want to hitch their wagon to? I guess so.
I mean, we've seen how good Chelsea Gray has been in Unrivaled. She's hit a lot of threes.
Yeah.
So she can do that. Jackie can do that.
And she'll be healthier going into next year, which is good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think my biggest alarm is how much I fear that Jewell will need to have the ball. And if it takes touches away from Asia, that's kind of a problem. I don't know. Again, like you said, we'll see.
But then they got a first-round pick this year.
They got basically a fake first, the top of the second round.
Oh.
So,
which is where they picked Kate last year at the top of the second round.
Yes. And, not to talk about Unrivaled too much, but with the way that Kate has been hooping in Unrivaled, it is going to be tough for the Aces to swallow the fact that they had a player like Kate that could have been the heir apparent to Kelsey Plum.
Yeah, well, we said it. They should have kept her. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Okay. So that's the Aces, basically.
That's the Aces. Sparks or...
The Sparks.
Sparks are easier to talk about.
Yeah, the Sparks, getting Kelsey Plum absolutely is an upgrade for them.
Sure. In terms of scoring, for sure.
Yeah, in terms of their guards, for sure. I think it makes their starting lineup a lot better, having a solid point guard available. They had the second pick. They traded that, so now they have the 9 pick.
Right.
I mean, that's worse. But you already have 2 very young players on your team, in Cameron Brink and Rakia Jackson. So, perhaps you just plan on keep developing them and you don't need more and more and more young talent.
First things first. We mentioned this. Kelsey Plum, not a defensive player. Obviously, the Sparks didn't lose a player out. I mean, they lost Li Yueru, but she was a backup center. They add Kelsey Plum, who will be a starter for them, in a lineup that could look something like Kelsey Plum, Rakia Jackson, Cam Brink, De'Arica Hamby, guard in question, or Azare. I don't know how they want to use that. All this to say, they were the third worst defense in the W last year.
Yeah, because Cameron Brink wasn't there.
Yeah, look, Cam helps anchor a defense.
Absolutely.
But I don't know who this other guard is going to be. If we do two guard, if De'Erica plays center, I don't know who they want to decide that guard to be. It's either going to be Ray Burrell, who's like a tweener guard forward, which I think she would be a pretty decent player. It would give them a lot of size if they decided to go with Ray Burrell, and she's been playing pretty well and Unrivaled. Could be Lexi Brown. I know she's not really dependable as far as her being healthy all the time. Could be Ari McDonald, who signed her restricted free agent tenure. Could
Or
be
they try to
Zaya Cook or
sign someone else.
Correct. All this to say, like, the number 2 overall pick for the Sparks, I think would have been really nice. I think a player like Olivia Miles, who's a true and honest point guard, who has shown very well that she is one of the best players in the country in the college game, can pass the ball, is something that would have been very, very helpful for this Sparks team.
Yeah.
And
well, Alexa Filippo said, sources told ESPN the Sparks were ultimately uncertain about who would even be available to be drafted number 2 overall. Not sure what that means.
Like, what? They think that Paige, like, if they think Paige is on the table, then why are they trading it?
I have no idea.
That makes them seem like they think Paige might be on the table, because they should know that it's Paige 1 and everybody else is available. You can pick from anybody else.
Literally anybody you want will be there. How can you say, I don't know who's going to be there, so I'm okay trading it? That just seems like a dumb reason. That's not a reason.
Yeah, and you know, looking at season stats too, the Sparks were the 3rd lowest in assists in the W.
Because they didn't have a good point guard.
No, and looking at Kelsey's numbers, if she's going to be their point guard now, last year in 2024, she averaged 4.2 assists.
Yeah, because Chelsea Gray is doing it.
Right.
So maybe
Her high water mark is 5.1. Not true point guard numbers, in my opinion. Pretty good for the W, because we know nobody reaches 10. But, like, you probably need somebody closer to 7. Just my opinion. And maybe that second guard is the actual point guard.
Well, who was playing point guard when Chelsea was hurt? Was it Kelsey Plum? I don't really remember.
Yeah, I mean, Kelsey Plum definitely had looks as the point guard. Jackie probably had looks as a point guard too. So it's a mix. But I don't know. And when we first found out about this trade and the Sparks giving up the 2nd overall pick for Kelsey Plum, I got nervous because I didn't think there was a guarantee that Kelsey wanted to stay in LA. I said, if you're giving up the 2nd overall pick, which could be a player on a cheap contract for 4 years, guaranteed, when we're about to go into CBA hell and not know how much any player is going to be worth, now you traded for Kelsey Plum. Fortunately, Alexa Filippo did report that she's interested in staying there long term. So if they can sort of lock up a Kelsey Plum 2 or 3 year contract before the CBA switches over, then that could be very valuable. Oh, well, actually, no, I guess you can't do that. Well, you could do it because she's going to sign her core tenure, and it'll probably just be 1 year. So I guess they can theoretically negotiate throughout the year and try to figure it out. But when you don't know what the CBA is going to be, then it's going to be confusing.
Yeah, but at least Kelsey Plum saying, no, I want to be in Los Angeles, I want to be here long term, that gives me hope for the Sparks that this wasn't just a 1 year thing and she's going to try to leave again. So what was the point of losing this pick?
Right.
So in terms of that, like, yeah, I'd rather have Kelsey Plum, a two-time champion,
Yeah.
an Olympic gold medalist.
Culture setter.
Right. A very, positive, fun player on your team than a rookie who I don't know if they're going to pan out.
Right. I mean, some people just like to build through the rookies and see what it's like.
Which I thought the Sparks were going to do, but...
Right. Cam and Rakia were perfect examples of that.
Exactly, but I guess they don't want to go that route.
And they just want to accelerate it. I just don't know if, unless Rakia takes a huge leap, Dearica we know is good and has been playing really well in Unrivaled. Azurá, I don't really know what her role is going to be on the team, even though she's also been playing really good in Unrivaled. Mm-hmm. I just don't think they're anywhere near able to compete with the New Yorks and even the Aces of the world. Mm. But they're going to try, and that's going to be interesting to see. I mean, they're definitely a playoff team now, but, will it pan out? I don't know. Are they going to be looking back at whoever that second overall pick is? Kiki or Olivia or who knows who?
I don't think so.
And be regretting that?
No, I don't think so.
We'll see. But let's talk about the team that's getting the second overall pick.
Okay.
Seattle Storm.
So the Storm got Li Yueru and the second overall pick.
Yes.
Essentially. For Jewell Loyd.
Yes. Li Yueru will just play backup center. If we look at who they have under contract next year, it's Skylar Diggins-Smith, Ezzy Magbagor, Jordan Horston, Nika Mule, Gabby Williams, and then they have a bunch of UFAs that could negotiate and come back. So we look at our center position, pretty solid rotation between Ezzy and Lee. I've been a fan of Lee's game. I think Lee is a good player, so I think that's pretty quality that they get a good player back and also get the second overall pick. Nika, we know, is hurt. Jordan Horston, very good. Skylar, people have opinions about Skylar. As a Lunar Owls fan, I like Skylar in the moment. I think it's going to be pretty important for the Storm to, if they do want to try to compete, to re-sign Nneka Ogwumike. Because I think Nneka and Gabby and Ezzy are a pretty good three. And then you take that second overall, that could be whoever you want. Because the team is so open book on either end. You could go guard or you could go forward. You can go with Kiki. You can go with Olivia. Paige could fall. Still
Apparently.
A possibility. And God, if Paige fell to them, then this is a slam dunk. But also, I don't think this is bad for the Storm. Like some people might say.
I don't think it's bad because Jewell, it just didn't seem like it was working out with Jewell. 2 years ago, Jewell was, like you said, demanded the ball because the rest of the team wasn't great.
Right.
So Jewell had to do everything.
Right.
And that dynamic just isn't healthy for a player.
Right.
Last year, Jewell really took a step back and struggled.
And she had to figure out playing with SDS and Nneka. It was all just a Frankenstein team.
Yeah.
But now, you take Jewell Loyd out of that. I think if you bring in a true point guard, I think that's where they should go, personally, right now with the pick. And then Nneka and SDS are playing together again for another year. Ezzy's there. Jordan Horston, very good off the bench, could start. Gabby Williams is going to start. She's getting that money. I think the Storm could be sneaky good. And are also not on a timeline to feel the pressure like they have to win right away. I don't think maybe Nneka feels that way because she's trying to figure out the end of her career.
Well, if Nneka wants to win and she is on this team and isn't getting the vibes that they are going to be winning now, does she resign? Or does she try to go somewhere else?
Right. And it's tough because we don't really know how her relationship with Jewell is right now. But is that a signal for I'm going to go bounce. I'm going to go sign with Golden State and go ride Golden State for a year. Could be the case. In that case, then you probably go pick differently with that second overall pick. But I just feel like when Jewell Loyd said, I'm out, I'm gone, you're able to get the second overall pick for that player, it seems like a win for me. And a 2026 first for Vegas. Vegas loses another first-round pick, gives it away. That's going to be an end of the first-round pick, unless something happens next year. We mentioned this earlier, like, could something happen with Becky Hammond and players actually want to leave Vegas? Now that could Kelsey Plum be the first domino of players leaving Vegas? I don't know.
Well, I think the first domino was De'Erica.
Sure,
And
you're right.
De'Erica's very happy now to have Kelsey with her. Mm-hmm.
That is true.
As she tweeted.
That is pretty cool.
So yeah, now does something happen with Asia? God forbid Asia wants to leave Las Vegas.
Then that 2026 first round pick looks pretty nice.
Right.
Pretty nice.
And I don't think that that's so far out of the question of something that happens.
Right.
This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So, when we let the dust settle, of the three, who's your winner, who's your loser? Are there only winners? Are there only losers?
Well, I think it's funny because I don't think they necessarily sought this out. I think the Sparks are the winners for me. Because I think Kelsey Plum makes them significantly better. And I think what it seems like is Kelsey Plum said she wants to go to LA. So I don't think LA came up with this trade as something they want to do to make the team better in their strategy of their long-term plan. So to me, maybe they just fell into this really good thing happening to them. But okay, good for them.
Sure.
I hope they can use it. Because when we talked about the coaches, go back and listen to our coaches podcast, our 7 new coaches. Their coach is the one that I'm very much the most skeptical about being good.
Right.
So who knows what's going to happen with that. But I do think that the Sparks won in this trade. To me, the Aces, I don't know if they're getting better from this.
No.
Or to me, it just seems like the same. Well, they'll probably be the same.
It kind of just felt like, sure, we can just get the straight up swap.
Right. The Storm, I'm more worried about. What's going to happen with all their free agents? Can they get those players back? Or does this controversy that's been going around on the team? Maybe Jewell is this first domino for them of people who want to leave.
But, sorry, I'll let you finish.
But Gabby Williams wanting to be there.
Exactly what I was going to say.
Is a positive.
It is. It reinforces the, nervousness, in my opinion. Whoever that rookie ends up being, I think, with Gabby Williams in the W and her, I think the Storm won, in my opinion.
Really?
And I'm partially process-brained, but I think Li Yueru is a positive player. And, random to be included here. I was surprised to see. I was like, wow, okay, that's a nice little get for the Storm.
Yeah, but they didn't really need her.
But I think they did. They didn't have anybody. It's good to have a backup center.
Well, then they're not going to re-sign Mercedes Russell, I guess.
No. And she was an unrestricted free agent anyway.
Fine.
So
they could have just re-signed Mercedes Russell. But okay.
I think but now they have Li Yueru on, I think, she signed her restricted free agent tenure, so she's got like another year of cheap monies. Mm-hmm. So they can afford to pay NECA if they want to bring NECA back. And when I'm looking at that squad, they seem pretty good to me. Good enough to try to compete with the Sparks team, in my opinion. Who knows?
But you don't know.
I don't know who that pick's going to be.
Exactly.
But the second overall pick is usually the second best player in the draft. The draft is good.
But to me, I see a starting 5 currently drawn for the Sparks that are good.
Sure.
I don't know who the Storm are going to have in their starting lineup. Who is this pick they're going to get? Are they going to get back NECA? It's just too much unknowns for me to say that they won this trade.
Right. Blank, SDS, Gabby Williams,
Ezzy.
Jordan Horston, Ezzy Magmagor.
But I don't think they want Jordan Horston to start.
Right. So you could draft a person that plays that spot, or you can draft that first blank. All I'm saying is the Storm are going to get a really cheap contract for 4 years when it's going to be crazy with salaries. Yeah. That is a good thing. That helps you build a team. Mm-hmm. And generally, I feel like the culture in Seattle is pretty strong for the WNBA, even if they're currently in the midst of a questionable situation. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I think that's our initial reactions. Kristen's yawning. We got to go to bed. We got work in the morning. I got to be up at 5:45. I got to edit this real quick. Just wanted to get this out to you. Thank you so much for listening to Attack the Baseline. We'll be back next week with some more stuff. But Kristen, I'm staring at the baseline. What are we going to do?
Attack it.
Attack the Baseline. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back soon. Bye-bye.